Hi guys. It's been a while, but we are back with some Cami Pauper, and this one's a brew that I'm currently working on. It's based on the kind of blue-white control, blue-white evoke kind of shell, obviously ephemerate, mold drifters, etc. with Reanimator loops. But what we're trying to do in this list is use Mirrorshell Crab as a obviously stifle / mana leak, and then the turn after hopefully just late to dinner or the 5th copy, which is the false defeat, and then from there we can control the game like the evoke deck effectively does. Similar mana base with the Ash Barrens, Chanceries, Tranquil Coves, and these lovely Cami lands. We've trimmed on a ephemerate compared to normal evoke because we're only running the 4 mold drifters and a soul. You've got the 2 Reanimators, which is fine, but again we've got to cut some spaces somewhere. We've got a catch-all Oblivion Ring, just God knows what's out there. Obviously there's experimental synthesizer decks, there's random things like that you just maybe need to catch-all. I'm unsure on it currently. Counter magic is 4 counter spell, 2 prohibits. I'm unsure if it should be prohibit over lose focus, but I think that should be fine. I think we'll see. I don't think there's enough to worry about between the lose focus and the prohibit. I think the 2 dispels are obviously they're just cheaper interaction, so that if we do late to dinner, we can protect on 5 as opposed to anything else. I've cut the what would be preordains in the evokes for Modern Age as obviously looting where needed. Obviously they might not cast a spell for the Mirrorshell Crab, so discarding it is obviously another way to the bin. It flips to be a flyer, which is obviously quite good for Fae. It's also quite good to be a creature to sacrifice, because that's the best way they can interact with your big threats, with obviously one having ward and one having hexproof, so it's quite good that way. I don't know how good it'll be. Obviously I haven't run a league with this yet, so this will be the first league running through. The Riverwinders, your pseudo cantrip, I guess. Obviously it's nowhere near as good as Ponder Preordained, but it replaces itself, which is obviously okay, and is obviously the best way to get a 5/5 body into the bin. And then you've obviously got Mold Drifter Archaeomancer to fill it in with some journeys. Moving on to the sideboard, it's a bit of... I didn't really know where to go with it. It's just a generic blue-white sideboard. The Soul is there, just obviously it's pretty nice. Obviously Soul's really good in certain matchups and it's awful in others, and just having that option to board in a second one is pretty relevant. So that's that. The 4 blue elemental blasts are basically burn. Obviously any red deck bringing in pyros as well, also quite nice. Tormod's Crypt is effectively your relic, but you target them because obviously you are a graveyard based deck, so you don't really want to be relicing yourself. I believe like a deck like Blue White Evoke could get away with running relic because obviously you're less graveyard relevant. You run 2 later dinners, for example, and you have the Archaeomancer loop, but it's not as crucial as I believe this deck is, obviously with 5 effective later dinners. So, trying out the Tormod's Crypt. 4 Dust to Dust. Affinity is still a thing, unfortunately. It's still around. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still pretty good. So it's a catch-all. Also, there's a lot of Jeskai Ephemerate or Wildfire. The Jund, Wildfires. The Boros decks seem to be running Synthesizer, going more artifact based, so there's that too. So that's really where those come in. They're probably going to be quite relevant this league, I imagine. And the Dawnbringers, there's a full 4, which is probably a lot, but I've found myself looking at bringing it in against mono blue. It's not the greatest. It gains life. It blows up enchantments, which isn't as relevant. It hits the hacker, so it's not that bad. And it obviously the exile in the graveyard is more in other matchups than it is this matchup, like that matchup in particular. But I think it's quite relevant, and probably bring some number between 2 and 4 somewhere. But that's basically it. That's the deck. I hope you guys enjoy this league, and I will see you guys for round 1. Hey guys, we're here for round 1, and we are on the draw. And I think this hand's a keep. Does exactly what we want it to do. No, obviously, protection as such, but we'll see how it goes. Just going to lead on the Tranquil Cove. We are most likely against some form of Pestilence deck, at a guess. Which probably makes the hexproof etc. quite good. I think most of them don't really lean on chainers much. I don't, because I don't think Boggles is really a thing. But again, obviously there's new meta, so obviously a lot of decks are very, very different. Here's that one. Just going to pitch another one of these. Hold up Crab. And then, if not, Ash Barrens and Cycle. Bog me. That is fine. Yeah, I don't think I want to stifle his ability. Excuse me. I'd rather just cycle this guy, the other Riverwinder at the end of turn. And late to dinner that. So obviously this is something relevant. That is, I'd say, pretty relevant, because this protects against a potential chainers. It's not the end of the world if we have to just play this Ash Barrens out as well. Like, it's a bit awkward, but there's definitely there is definitely worse things to worry about. We do have 2 chances to bounce it, and we are hitting our land drops, so it's not the end of the world. I also believe I can ephemerate this to basically start looting again if I need to. So that's something to consider. I have an Oblivion Ring for a Pestilence as well if needed. Oh. Excuse me. I think I'm just going to evoke this and then ephemerate. This plays around chainers. Now with the tap land as well, he can't cast down chainers either, so that means we could most likely hold up counter spell next turn. Skyfish is fine. So I think I do want to journey the Skyfisher. I think. Get as many creatures off the board. Obviously, if a Pestilence does resolve, it's a little awkward in the sense that a Mirrorshell crab's gonna keep it around, but it is a 5/7 that's gonna hopefully hit hard. Just gonna counter this. Just gonna cycle this now. Fine. Just gonna try and hit as hard as possible and as quick as possible. Maybe should have lated in it there, but tagging the River Winder, like, because now we can cast down. That's fine. That is also fine. So I'm just gonna cycle the Ash Barons. Get a island. So we're gonna journey this guy. He does gain 2, which is obviously quite annoying, but it will be right. I think we are gonna target this River Winder. Just see another guy. Just because he can cast down the Mirrorshell, and obviously this basically gets him dead. Should come. Whew. So from that, I don't know if we want all 4 of these, but I feel like we want some number. I am assuming he's on Pestilence, so, and I think my initial thought is I don't need to be as graveyard based. Like, I'm still gonna keep these in, I think. Maybe 2. Maybe something like that. I don't want to feel like I have to bin something relevant with these just to get a 2/3 flyer when these are effectively replacing them. And these can hit, if they do board in journeys, they hit those. They do exile some from the graveyard, which is not irrelevant, assuming he runs home near the dead. And it obviously hits Pestilence. We'll give this a go. Maybe I should have taken out some number of dispels, but I just feel like protecting my guy is probably more important. So obviously a mulligan. To 5. This is fine. We are basically going to pitch that and pitch this. Hope these mole drifters basically just get us back in it. Spell bomb. Mirrorshell crab being a creature is relevant. How bothered about getting castigated am I? That's the big question, I think. I don't think I'm that bothered because he's effectively forced to take the Mirrorshell, so I'm just going to evoke this. Just need to try and get back the cards from mulling to 5 here. And try and keep hitting land drops. Interesting. Well, he does only have 1 card in hand, which I only just noticed. I didn't realise how badly he mulliganed. Oh, he mulled to 4. That's a lot worse than I mulled to 5. Which makes sense. Nice. Oh, well, I guess that answers that. Yeah, it was unfortunate for the opponent, I guess, but take the win anyways. I will see you guys for round 2. Hi guys, we're back for round 2 and we are on the play. And this is unfortunately a mulligan. I think I maybe would have considered keeping it if it was an island, but this is a lot better. Just going to send back the Chaomancer, I think. Time for the fair matchup. I'm going to guess it's most likely mono blue, but obviously could be any variant of them. Especially with Fairies here as the lead. 2 cards. I think I'm going to get a plains here just for the journey. Just going to get this down while I can. Gonna try and journey the ninja. That comes down. And this obviously set us going for a flyer as well. Most likely just going to discard a crab as well. I'm assuming we have a reader. Cool. crab here. Heal through this. Drop. The chances of ninja on 2 is obviously so high now. That's fine. I don't think I want to pitch another one. Do I just pitch another a modern age here? And then Journey Chancery. I think that seems fine. But this is another reason why the other ninja's also really good. Like if it was the new ninja from Kami, he could have obviously ninja 2'd for 1 and then replayed the seer, got here the scry value and then also threatened another ninja here. Where now obviously I managed to journey and then and then this flips for this. If I knew I was going to draw this many lands, I would have pitched a land for the modern age. So I'm just going to play this island here. I know he knows about the plains, but I guess I still could have actually played the plains. My bad. This guy can't be blocked. Sure. It's a interesting one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just gonna hold back on this. Maybe should have cycled that in my turn, but I'm expecting a ninja here, no? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got to spell. I guess we just cast this and hold up the spell and hope that's enough. Like it has to be counter spell that he has, but then I guess he can also then just have spell stutter for the the spell, which is no, it just has double counter spell. Cool. No attacks. This is keeping the seer back. So we'll just hold off on that. Tappy guy. Sure. I like this guy. Very nice. Sure. Cool. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have pitched the modern age here, but obviously I can't tell the future how many lands I'm going to draw. We can obviously just hard cast the crab, and he's played 2 counter spells, so it's not nothing. I'll keep him for 1. Just gonna hard cast this bad boy. Probably gonna get oh, it did not. I don't think I'm gonna start attacking a race, but that's fine. Also with these, I'm uncertain on if he's running spell stutter sprite. Which is interesting. Because most would just run miscreant. Fine. Finally got a ninja. Another deep hours. Sure. It's a good one. So we are Arcane Answering. Just gonna get back a Dispel here, just for obviously my only option anyways, but just cast it for some form of protection. And then I'm just gonna start hitting for 5. Which only needs to connect 4 times. This Ephemerate can... So he does run Spellstar. It's good to know. Like, I don't really like this, but it also means it is around in like a few more turns. And the second one's not the worst, because obviously I do draw and then loot. This is fine. So that fizzles. I'm not blocking here. I'm not blocking the ninja anyways. You can connect it. Getting the Ephemerate off is just, to me, is much more important. He's most likely got another... So you got a ninja here. He has a snap. Ah, nice. So he gets to snap his ninja and then ninjutsu his Spellstar. It's a bit round the houses, but he could have just obviously, unless he's, as I was about to say, unless he's double ninjutsuing to return 2 creatures. Sure. One top, one bottom. Not good. He's got the spell stutter up for obviously the Ephemerate, but I think he's just he was meant to Ephemerate the counter the Ephemerate, but he's responded to the rebound trigger. Unfortunately. Soul is good. I don't really care too much about this ninja. I'm just going to discard the Oblivion Ring and then Soul the Migration Ephemerate here. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for the opponent, obviously. He just missed the trigger. He responded to the wrong trigger, which is what it is. It's the main thing about Magic Online. It's a very, very punishing client. Obviously now got an army in the air. So he's only got the rogue to go unblocked. Interesting enough that he is running this and this while still also running Spell Stutter. It'd be interesting to see if he's running. Sure. At least he gets to draw a card here. Go. This guy again, sure. So he's running Miscreant as well. And Wingcrafter. Sure. Interesting one. So the ninja has flying. Sure. Is your last card. Is your last card a counterspell? Or a... It is not. Keep. Attack with both of these. See if he blocks with the soul. Sure. Because I'm happy to just ephemerate this now. Just get an army of flyers. Like the only guy getting through is the Slither Blade. Which is fine. 4, 5, 6, 7. Ninja. Interestingly enough, he's only halfway through his deck. He's not even halfway through his deck, and he's seen 3 ninjas, but it's only the deep hours, so I don't actually know if he's running the new one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 flyers. 1, 2, 5. So currently I believe he's dead in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he blocks. So he has 5 flyers and he blocks 2 2s, 2 1s, another 1. So that's 3. Oh, but he can block this guy with this. Which I think I'm fine with, to be honest. I think actually Journey. What am I journeying? What is his last card? So if I send all in, yeah, I think I take out this. I maybe should have done this, but could be wrong. This also might be a bit greedy. Like he loses most of his board here. So he blocks, and the miscreant blocks. It's currently taking 7 here. Okay. Trying to do this now. Obviously it's not an interaction, but you would assume they would have done it with the Reanimator. Go. This just means he's most likely not getting a ninja through. Because we've got block, 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 take 1. So unless it's double mutagenic growth here. I can also block with the Reanimator, which I think is fine to do, since though the soul, I'm just happy to take the soul with the ephemerate. But nice, we managed to get a game 1 in, and we are ahead on the clock. These matches are a grind. I think I want the full 4. I'm going off the assumption, maybe it's against this build, it's not particularly as good. I'm going off the assumption he does have the hacker in his deck. Maybe I just have 3 in the extra soul. Like, Torrent Script's no good, he's not playing red, obviously. The only artifact we've seen in his deck was the Disruptor. I don't think I want Oblivion Ring. Probably don't want one of these. Modern Age seems good. I think I just bought out 2 of these. Maybe more, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just happy to do this. Just try that. I think I'm uncertain on the Riverwinder, but I feel like only 4 Mirrorshells is probably not where you want to be. Like, obviously we can Muldrifter, I guess, but Muldrifter isn't as game winning when you're late to dinner in. So, I think this is a keep. This is fine. It's nothing exciting. Like, I could easily die to an early ninja here. That was good. That's also good. No 1-drop there was quite surprising, especially with how many he ran. There's the hacker. Dawnbringer. We're never lucky. Never lucky. This is like a real thing, the fact that it is a 2-drop and not a 4-drop, like obviously like Ninja of the Deep Hours is. Like, this is a like, Luton is still almost equally as good, and he gets to do this. Wow. Nice. Can't do anything with that. Just gonna get an island here. We have 2 white sources, we don't need any more. Dawnbringer right on time. Actually, I'm just going to play this out game 2. Like, it blocks the Deep Hours, and there's probably a future where I can ephemerate it to kill a hacker. But blocking this is my main priority right now. Sure. I'm just running this out. I just need cards, really. Cool. Did I play it on this time? I did. Okay. Just gonna pass. He obviously does get to hack her in with the blade. So that's something. And he does get a hold of counter spell as well, which is fine. I'm just going obviously just gonna Ash Barrens here in the turn, get a island. And then we're just gonna play Dawnbringer Cleric. Like, it has to be counterspell as well because there's no fairy. So basic land cycle here. Get an island. Play an island. And we're just going to play Dawnbringer here. Has to be a counterspell here. Oh no. Okay. Being an enchantment isn't free, which is good. Good for a deck like this that wants to run Dawnbringer anyways, so it's not the worst. Let's see a scan attack. Well, it can. Just not very favourable with 2 Dawnbringers in play. Go. Again, just gonna get an island. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm actually just gonna. I think I'm just gonna accept this is gonna die. I'm not particularly fussed. Okay. Take that. I'm not going to journey this now, I'm going to look at journeying it next turn. Just when I have more mana available to Mirrorshell, Counterspell and Dispel. Like the winged, the Soul Bond guy obviously would be slightly annoying. I actually think I'm going to counter this. Weirdly enough, like I don't think it's particularly threatening, but no matter what, it constantly gets through Sunken City. I should play blue. That's quite annoying. It's got 5 cards. I'm happy to take this. I think happy to take this one. Just one hit, and then I can journey it with Mirrorshell and Dispel up. Snap. I think I'm just going to dispel this. Do I want to counter anything? Probably not. Probably just happy to just Modern Age here. Nice draw. Can start attacking now. Be interesting to see if he's gonna do anything with the Sunken City. Like at any point I could easily just any point I can easily just ephemerate a Dawnbringer Cleric and basically go from there. Do I want to counter this? I feel like I might as well. Just keep anything off the board. Like it has to be, yeah. Cool. Because he was just going to tap something anyways. like tap a land anyways, so sure. Four, 5, 6, 7. Four, 5, 6, 7. Sure. Happy enough to discard this. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I get to do this and get a counterspell back, which isn't awful. And then if he pays 2 blue to keep the Sunken City, which he most likely will. Obviously it is symmetrical, so it's not irrelevant. And then he tries to ninja. Okay. Very sure. I'm assuming he needs something to do with his mana here. I do get a 2/3 flyer as well next turn, which is not nothing. Sure. Cool. I'm just going to cycle this. I don't need to commit one of these yet. So, I'm just going to try and use the crab to stop a ninja. Snap. I'm going to dispel this. Let me counterspell this. And then we get a Mirrorshell this. Nice. So yeah, basically from that point, obviously he's got 1 card in hand that can just effectively drop this. Yeah, but I was surprised that went as well. The Dawnbringers are actually really clutch. I think they're surprisingly good in this matchup, especially if they are the Sunken City build. But there we are. There's it for round 2, and I will see you guys for round 3. Hey guys, welcome to round 3, and we are on the play. And yeah, I think this is a keep. Solid hand. Does what we want it to do. I'm uncertain if it does need a 6th late to dinner, but as it doesn't seem to show up very often. Happy to just play this out. I don't need to cycle this. Fae again. Fae everywhere. Most likely happy to discard a land here. I'm happy to discard this plains actually. Most likely ninja in here. Sure. Can't do anything about that one. What am I planning on doing here? So I think I am discarding a land. But is it the Ashbands or is it an island? And then am I Muldriftering or am I River Winding? I feel like I'm River Winding. So I'm going to discard this. I'm going to play this. Souls up counter magic in theory, and also has Ash Barons and Riverwinder up. He's connecting with ninjas though, so it's never a good thing. Sure. It's blue-red. Right, okay. It's good to know. One top, one bottom. So yeah. Basic land cycle, get an island. I think there's too many planes in this. I think there's 3 planes, and I feel like there shouldn't be that many. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a planes, cycle this, and I'm just gonna late to dinner because it is. I'm assuming it's either holding up a scred for this. Or he's holding up Spell Stutter, which obviously Spell Stutter you can't count on the later dinner. And we'll see how it goes from here. Cool. So I have a 5/5 hexproof that I don't, as far as I'm aware, blue-red can't actually answer. So we'll see how it goes from here. So you cast Preordain, put 2 on bottom. And then you put 2 on bottom again. Red Fjord. So I'm just going to evoke this, and then I'm going to ephemerate, and then if he spreads or bolts, I'm just going to ephemerate again. No. Okay. Cool. And then I'm just going to start sending them for 5 here. I think this is probably the last time I'll consider tapping this low. Like, he could easily just have double removal spell here. Lightning bolt on this. I think that's fine. Probably an augur here. A fire. I'm just gonna think an ephemerate off here. If he counters it, he counters it. Sure. It's a hit there. Sure. For 5. I've already got an ephemerate in the bin, so I'm not particularly fussed. and play a land. So I can journey this ninja, which is fine. Send for 5. And then I'm just going to late it into this Mudrifter back, keep the cards up. Obviously provides a blocker. It can be removed, which is obviously annoying, but I think it's fine. He's wasted a bolt and 2 bolts and a fire. It's fine. Fjord. I'm assuming he's going to hit a ninja one. Probably the spell store. Nope. Okay. Interesting. 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it into this. Counter spell. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab this. Just gonna crab, as it means there's no way you can interact with it. Like if I counter spell, he can spell stutter sprite. Obviously, you can't with crab. The opponent's liking the home, bro. Nice. We are up a game. So some amount of these is probably where we want to be. I think the full 4's probably a bit excessive, but he's most likely bringing in pyros. So there is that. He's most likely going to bring in relics as well. So I don't like the Oblivion Ring. I think we can trim on one of these. I do really like the Riverwinder. And I also do like the Modern Age. Maybe I can cut down on another. The opponent's just asking about the deck. So I do think maybe I don't want any souls. Maybe I don't want an extra soul. Maybe I don't even want this one. I haven't seen any hackers either. And I imagine if blue-red, they're probably running maybe 1 or 2. So maybe that's not as relevant. So I don't mind the idea of that. Could maybe cut... I really like the Riverwinder against them. They just have no answer to it. Maybe I can trim one for one of these. So, like I think this is fine. I could easily just die to an early ninja. But again, can't do much about it. I just need to hit land drops, obviously. Sure. 2 cards on top. I'm just going to cycle this now. Try and get a blue source. He's in the tank. So the guy's in the tank about the Riverwinder, so I'll resume recording obviously once he's let it resolve. We're back, he let it resolve, we drew the Prohibit, so got nothing to do this turn. But yeah, I do feel like there's 1 planes too many, so as this is probably showing. Like, I think it was an okay keep, like, maybe not as the only castable spell was Blue Elemental Blast, but I think 3 lands against a deck like this, where it's not particularly quick, and we did have 2 counter spells up. Oh dear. Maybe it was too greedy for me to think that we were going to draw any land. This kind of counter spell here. The little fairy that could. Ninja. So there is the hacker. It's good to know. I'm actually just going to counter this. If I draw something that interacts with this, like a Dawnbringer Cleric, then it would have been miles better, but obviously can't. Drawing a land there is fine as well. Like, it is good, but it is obviously only looting as well. Obviously, if he starts ninja and a ninja. Script, sure. Interesting that he kept all these in, but I guess he wanted answers to Muldrifter. I don't think I'm going to play this. Bald face. Ain't happening. Just going to try and keep the bot. Oh, as if you had to dispel. The planes. Yeah. I think this is over. Especially since it gets the ninja, the spell stutter as well. Most likely. Nope. Okay. Do we think he's out of counters? I guess this is fine. We journey the hacker here. Yeah, counter spell him for something. Cool. He might have an echo in truth here as well. Nope, just straight up bolt to the face. going to keep that life total as high as possible here. Did he get another ninja? He did. There's 2 at least. Oh dear. I'm just going to play this out to get some cards, hopefully get a land. Red. Get the spell and then he spells does. Drop. I'm just trying to keep the cards down as well from his side. So obviously I'm not in the best of positions here. So being stuck on 4 lands is not good. But seeing the hacker makes me want to bring in the Dawnbringers. More of the Dawnbringers anyways. Going out 3. Dive a bolt here. But he has cast 2 of them. Excuse me. This guy's preordained. Bottom face. Cool. To game 3. I think do 2 more. Cut an Archaeomancer and probably an Ephemerate actually. Just cut that loop, and the way we're most likely going to win is most likely the way we're going to win is through late to dinner and something. Now, this isn't fast, but I think it's fine. Like, we do need to hit our 4th land drop here, so there is that. But weirdly enough, an untapped land would actually be pretty good here, so we can counter the ninja ability. Never that lucky. Could have a prohibit up for something, which isn't nothing, I guess. His last 2 games seem to be struggling on lands. Ninja? Oh, luckily no ninja. Yeah, I'm just going to evoke this. Just try and get more land drops here. If he has counterspell, he has counterspell. Or a pyro, obviously, would be equally as bad. Chop. Now Fairies gets to do its thing. Four cards. What did you do with the Fairy? 1 top, 1 bottom. Most likely going to be a ninja. And I think I'm happy to try and Mirrorshell the ninja. I can then at least attempt to late to dinner it back. Sure. I'll Mirrorshell that. I think that's fine. Like, he gets the hacker here, but then I also get a 5/7. I don't particularly need to keep one mana open, so I'm just gonna late to dinner the crab. The crab's obviously, I think, a lot worse compared to the Riverwinder, as there is a chance that late game he can actually scrid it, for example. But I think currently that's fine. Sure. Are we going to hacker? No. It's got one open. Most likely got a red elemental blast. I don't think I care if he counters this. If he rebs this. Like, if he wants to, he can. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna play this. So I think my Reanimator just wants to bring back late to dinner here. At some point. This is fine. I'm assuming he's going to bolt this or scrid it end of turn. Which is fine. Like, I think I'm happy with that. That is fine. He gets a ninja here. No ninja. Okay. Five in it. Gonna hit 5 again. Play this. Like, if he wants to counter this, I think I'm fine. Do I want to trade this? I guess so. Can't the spell starter again. If he wants to fight over this, I think I'm fine. Like, I don't particularly care too much. Sure. Like, I still have a 5/7, so I'm not particularly that bothered, and it means my Reanimator is more likely to resolve here. Oh, nice. Can't complain there. It's a good one. And a relic. Nice. Just get rid of Ash Barons here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Need 3 up. So here we get to our Reanimator, target the late to dinner, and then yeah, so we get to our Reanimator, target the late to dinner, and then if he wants to respond. Bounce this. It's fine. He has 2 cards in hand. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I do have counter spell up. Can exile a card from my graveyard. I'll exile the Modern Age. So there's a spell stutter in hand. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a spell stutter in hand. 2 unknowns. I think I'm just gonna attack here for 1. I'm gonna gain 2 life on this. This just gives me double, like, curfew protection here. Could let this. I think I'll let this resolve. And I'd probably try and late to dinner a Mole Drifter. And then if he relics here, I can Mirrorshell. He pays the 3. Nice. I didn't expect that to resolve, to be fair. She's fine. Bolt that. So 1 card in hand. I'm assuming he's going to crack the relic here. His last card's a squid. Nice. Oh dear. And then crack the relic. Cool. And it was a land. So he's got 1 unknown. Hitting for 3. Sure. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 with counter up. This big bad boy. Cool. Play a land. Yep. For 1. Like, he can still obviously try and take over the game with a ninja at any point, which I'm assuming is what he's got if he's hitting for 1 here. No. Okay. I guess he's going to use these to start chunk blocking this guy. Or he's going to try and double block the Reanimator, but it's not a bad draw either. I think if he wants to double block the Reanimator, I'm fine with that. He's double blocking the Reanimator. Drop. Like, I think that's fine. I don't think I'm particularly playing a discard a land. Like, I guess his plan is to try and draw another curfew. Oh. Jump, fine. In a basic land cycle here. An island. Play the island. I'm gonna try and leave the planes in hand in case I draw another modern age. Attack for 1 shot. Ninja? Ninja's fine. Like, he most likely has to play Spell Stutter again here. Obviously, unless he draws another threat. Nice. So 3 cards in hand. Oh. So this flips. Curfew. Can't spell. And then the Spell Stutter doesn't resolve. Spell Stutter can't counter something. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Jumping with the Spell Stutter. Again, I don't need to play a land here. It makes him more likely to play around something. Like, this is a good block. Obviously, Jesus. He's doing well at ripping. Hit for 2. It's interesting. He literally needs to hit something here. Opponent said GG. So I'm assuming he's got nothing, but cool. That's it. That's for round 3, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys for round 4. Hi guys, welcome back. We are here for round 4 and we are on the play. This hand is a keep. Very much like a blue-white evoke style hand. We're not jamming in big crabs or serpents early. Uh-oh. No elves. Okay. Oh. Yeah, so I'm just going to get this out the way now. And go from there. We're against Bogles here. Could be Slivers also. Bogles seems the likely option. I guess we now hold counterspell up for the rest of the game. But to be fair, he's most likely just going to play... excuse me. Most likely just going to play something like Ancestral Mask or Ethereal now. To try and get the counterspell out. This hand that bad. I think I'm fine with countering this. I think. No attacks, very odd. Prohibit. So I have to play this. Hold up Prohibit. Actually, I probably should have played the island there. That was a mistake by me. This means I get to play Muldrift the next turn, but playing island means I get to counter an Ancestral Mask. So if he drops a Mask here, I'm probably in trouble. But I am holding up counter spell as well, so in theory, so you might try and play around that. Crumbling Vestige. Sure. I really don't like this card in these lists. I don't understand why they whack up the mana base just to play sideboard cards. Like going straight up green white's probably better anyways. So here I get a counter this, and then he probably just masks. I imagine this matchup's probably pretty awkward, since though the guys are bigger than... Oh, Armadillo Clock. Sure. Cool. The guys are bigger than... His guys get bigger than my bombs that I'm trying to reanimate. I also have no real out to this. Like at this moment in time, he probably thinks I'm familiars, I guess, because sometimes they do run like a one-of Tranquil Cove. Jesus. Ouch. They'll just get back counter spell. It can't be blocked by flyers. Why didn't I attack there? Oh well. Should have attacked there really, because I don't think I'm planning on blocking. Maybe I am planning on blocking. Because I get to late for dinner it back. I do still take 3 here. But I think I'm kind of basically digging for a Soul of Migration, I think. Is where what I'm looking to do here. That's a nice draw. Oh, and there's the Soul. Play this. Trying to hit for 1. Sure. So yeah, my game plan here is to get the Soul so it can trade with the Ledgewalker and basically counter any enchantment that comes into play. Yeah. Let's hope to God that's a whiff. Hopefully. That one card in hand isn't in Bond. I think I'm taking 5 here. I'm using a lot of life here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I maybe should have prohibited more than just... I did it for information. So he didn't play around a counter spell, but now if he just plays... Maybe I just... No, surely. Unless his last card's a ram through. So I'm basically hoping him not to have Mask this turn. I think it's where I'm at. If I can avoid a 3 converted mana cost aura here, I think I'm fine. I say fine in some form of winnable position, like, but... Well, he's drew something relevant. Something he can cast anyways. So I take this. Yeah, take this. Got 2. He's on a lot of life, which is fine. I can't tap out to gain some life here because in case he has ram through. One, two, three, 4. 4 left open. Get back counter spell. Let me pass down. So 6. Yeah. So if he attacks here, I can ephemerate the soul and then block with everything. Cool. One edge. Oh. Just gonna discard false defeat. Pass down. What's the counter attack with the arcane monster? So yeah, we're now just basically going to loop these Archaeomancers, the Ephemerates, making a big army of birds. I need all the shield down. I'm just going to discard this later, didn't I? No, I'm going to discard this land. Play this land. And this is basically all we're going to do for the rest of the game. And every Ephemerate that we draw from this point on basically makes 2 more birds while also looping. So we're just going to try and make literally an army of birds here. Like, I don't know if he's going to try and wait to play 2 spells a turn, 3 spells a turn, I'm unsure, but... My game plan is basically make enough birds or flyers so I can deal 46 damage to him in 1 turn, currently. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's cycle this. Mole Drifter. I guess we do this. This means we can keep up Ephemerate and double counterspell. Next turn I can Mole Drifter. Got 4 cards in hand. A Bogle's fine. Can't find the Archaeomancer for all the birds. Obviously this guy's still lower on clock, so that's fine. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 birds currently. I think this is fine. I don't think I'm particularly fussed about the actual on the ground threats. Can it please group these birds together? This guy. No, we pass. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Currently got 22 in here. We're almost there. We're halfway almost. Like, I don't really get what the guy's game plan is. Like, is he trying to deck me here, or... Oh. I've 100% just messed them all up. Wow. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I playing at? So now I just need to basically... Oh wow. I don't know why these birds aren't grouped together, but it's slightly annoying. So, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 9, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 27, 28. So now I'm just waiting for another ephemerate. Chop. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5. I'm just going to channel this one. If you want to pay for it, you can pay for it. Maybe I shouldn't, because the last card still could be rammed through. I could easily still die here because I messed up. Sure. Actually, I don't think I can. Oh. So this transforms into 2, 3, 3, 4. I think I just evoked this because I'm trying to find another ephemerate here to try and loop again. Sure. And then 1, 4. This means I can get my Mole Drifter back. I will get another ephemerate soon, honest. I have double counter spell up. I don't understand why these birds aren't together. Like, we are ahead on clock, so there is that. So 2 cards in hand, Got 2 counter spells for basically both cards. We are at the point where we do need to find a Ephemerate soon, because we are running out of actual. Got 1 card in hand, so I can gain life and tap out of it. Basic land cycle here. Get the last land. Oblivion Ring. It's really good actually. I actually forgot that was in the deck. So we can Oblivion Ring the Ethereum Armor. She basically has a 3/3. Play the planes. Mask 1, 2, 3, 4. I can actually start attacking this guy. I don't know why he's blocking, to be fair. He's on 41, but sure. I will take it. Sure. I'm good for that. Now let's not make another mistake. Go. Do this here. Yeah, counter spell here. And then I'm gonna get back both Ephemerates. And then I'm gonna use 1 to get back Riverwinder. I don't think I need to play that. I'm gonna only use 1 Riverwinder because I'm gonna use the second one in case I need to get a 3rd counter spell, just in case. This. So I'm going to use this one to get back a 3rd counter spell if I need to. But this is effectively what I'm going to do now, especially I've got this Oblivion Ring. Rancor. That can get countered. So yeah, I'm basically just going to counter pretty much every enchantment that I can possibly counter. Ancestral Mask. Counter. Counter spell. What a grind. What a grind. So yeah, I'm just going to use these ones to to get back the Ephemerate, obviously, and then counter as well. It was also quite an okay draw, because I think... Okay. Finally. What a grind. Whew. Jeez. The one of Solar Migration coming in absolutely insanely clutch there. See, I think we want these. I think the Soul's good. The O-Ring as well coming in insane, like makes us close the games out infinitely quicker. They do sometimes run ram through / board into ram through, so be a consideration to keep some of those. Journeys, obviously everything's got hexproof, it's pretty much irrelevant. This obviously counters gets rid of an enchantment in play, so I think that's fine. I don't know if I want to try and keep Wonder Spell for ram through. Probably not with the counter package that we're running, but we will try that, I think. But yeah, we're just hoping for basically the Dawnbringers here. Dawnbringers are going to hopefully carry us. I think this is fine. No? Think I need a white sauce? But we'll see. No one drop there is good. For us anyways. So I can basically get an island here for the counter spell, or I can get a plains to obviously accompany other Edgewalker here again. Oh, you Tophius, bro. Okay. On white. I think I do need to get a white source more than I need Ledgewalker. More than I need to hold up counter spell currently. I'm just going to discard an Archaeomancer here. I can later dinner it back later on if I need to. Ancestral Mask. Sure. Oh, wow. Oh my god, we're gonna land. What an honor. It's slightly annoying, obviously, that these guys obviously increase the mask, but I can't really do anything about it. I need to play these to filter at the moment. Hit for 8. Sure. Currently has no white mana, apart from that Utopia Sprawl. So 2 cards in hand. On 7. Probably pitch on late to dinner. Play this, go to 8. So he's got 2 cards in hand. He hasn't played anything relevant, and I've been basically tapped out the entire time. So I feel like these 2 cards and like another mask or anything, because he would have obviously just played it. So I think I'm just going to evoke this not hold up counter, and just try and draw a Dawnbringer Cleric. Or lands. Dawnbringer Cleric's nice. It's good. He obviously is still attacking for 8 as well. And I am on 8. But we're going to chump the Ledge Walker with the Glider. Never mind. Luckily though, obviously it has decreased. So I've got to hope that he whiffs on an enchantment here. Oh no. Cool. 4 Dawnbringer Clerics, no land, and kept having to tap out. The Modern Ages were quite awkward there with the mask. Yep. It's a bit unfortunate really. Nicely played by Libon. I feel like we want one of these. I think I'm happy enough to pitch 1. Like, these are good, but they do feel slightly awkward when it's buffing his guys. Having a Dawnbringer in hand's good, and an Ephemerate also. I think I'm going to keep this, even though the mana's a bit clunky. I'm hard relying on the Dawnbringer here, which I think is fine. But I do also have Mold Drifters to kind of get me some lands. No Bogle. He had a Bogle. I can look at trying to cut him off white depending on obviously how his turn plays out. Like if he plays Abundant Halves or Utopia Sprawl here. Yep. Pulling him in white. Oh, he's named green. Interesting. Double green. 2 1-drops. Rancor. Sure. So, weirdly, hit for 3. Sure. So, I'm going to hope he doesn't have a ram through here. So, we can hit, we do destroy an enchantment. I think we cut him off white. And then if he attacks for 3 to offer the trade, then I think I Ephemerate, kill the Rancor and then block. Is what I'm planning on doing. Vestige. It's most likely going to be white to put an Ethereal Armor on something. Paying costs. Armadillo Cloak. Sure. Sure. That's fine. Sure. But he's played a land this turn, so he can't put his planes into play. Blow this up. Do I offer the trade? I think I probably do. I lose my... I do lose the... I think I'm going to offer the trade. I lose the Ephemerate here, but he's obviously... he's not got a guy in hand, I don't think. I do need to draw land, so can I afford to miss a land drop for that? I think I can, because I get an island. Means I can cast Counterspell. I just gotta hope he doesn't have another guy. So there's a Rancor and 2 unknowns. Oh, he's got another guy. Another guy with a Rancor as well. Sure. So I can hold up mana for Counterspell, which I think is fine. I think that's what I want to do. Because then if he has nothing worth countering, I can just double Riverwinder. If he just hits for 3 here, that's fine. And then I just get a double Riverwinder. False Defeat's not a bad one. Like he did nothing. I can probably... If that False Defeat's not the worst, I just literally get a Riverwinder in play. I can then Archaeomancer the False Defeat back for the Dawnbringer, if I need to. I would like to just keep drawing lands though at some point, is what I'm hoping for. 6-4, great. Taking 6. Oh man, what is it with this deck and not drawing lands here? So I need to do this, I think. Pick up the False Defeat and hope that he doesn't have a ram through to purely punish me here. But he probably does. Oh dear. Maybe it was greedy to bring back the Riverwinder. I'm really struggling here with missing this many land drops. So this I take 1. Like he dies, it's fine. Can't do nothing about it. Oh dear. feel like I'm probably dead here. Like with 3 cards in hand, I'm most likely dead. Not attacking, obviously. Sure. Most likely got an armadillo cloak or a mask here. No, go away. This deck is proper just... Oh my god. 3 lands in 4, top 20, like... Oh my god. Like, I know I had the Ash Barons, but... Like, 4 Dawnbringers as well. This matchup should be... I would say it should be fine, in all honesty. You just need to count certain things and hit your land drops, but I've just died to my own deck 2 games there. Really unfortunate. But hey, thanks for watching. See you for round 5. Hi guys, welcome back to the final round, and we are on the draw. And this hand, I think, is a keep. I feel like I'm gonna regret keeping these low land hands because we never seem to get there. But well, we'll see. We are against Fear for the 3rd time this league. We'll try and see if we know if it's going to be blue-black, blue-red, or mono-blue. I'm assuming most likely mono-blue because easiest one to jam 8 ninjas, and everybody loves the new ninja. So I'm just going to land cycle the Ash Barons here, probably for another island. Should you land? I'm assuming he's attacking, so you can put the hacker in. Nope, okay. Very pimped out deck with the old bordered seas and the Guru lands. Very nice. Double seer. Chop. Two cards on top. Just what we like to see. At least we got a 3rd land drop here. Do I want to play it? Probably not. Like, it's holding up 1 mana. Most likely Spell Pierce, to be fair. Because I don't know why they seem to have moved back to Spell Pierce for some unknown reason that I... Too small brain to work out. And I'm gonna pitch his Rewinder. Maybe should have pitched the crab, but I like uncounterable counter spells. Yeah, it's most likely mono blue here. It's fine. No ninjas. Ephemerate. Counter spell. Probably just going to discard another counter spell here. Play a land drop for the turn. And then pass. And hope to God we don't get flip Delver and hit. But double top most likely means we are getting flipped. Oh, fair enough. Drop. Ninja? No. No ninja. Interesting. Oh well. I have a 2-3. No land drops yet again. Sure. I don't know what I plan to do here. I feel like I want to try and greed out these if he's going to attack with everything. Like, I don't think I want to trade for this yet. I really, really don't. Wow, I hit over. No, I'm not going to block this one. I guess we try this. It's most likely getting spell stuttered, which is really awkward. But again, because for some reason the deck with 21 lands seems to miss a million land drops. Sure. I'm assuming a ninja's coming here. Mutagenic. Sure, why not? We'll bite. Would you counter spell? Yeah, sure. Like, I feel like this game is very easily winnable if I actually hit land drops. But for some reason the deck doesn't seem to like to. For whatever reason. Cool. Well done. Try 3. I don't like the Oblivion Ring in this matchup. Don't like a 5th. One of these. Probably could 2 of them. And try that. Cool. Now this seems fine. See all the lands. Got lands and colours. Preordain's good. Good for us. Gives us time, which is mainly all we need. Delverino. Sure. Brilliant. I'm expecting a top here. One card on top, one card on bottom. Fair. I'm fine with passing here and not trying to mull drifter. I also don't think I want to Mirrorshell crab the Delver trigger, especially since it's blind. I'm more looking to probably crab the ninjutsu, if that's something it's most likely going to do. Top, sure. No ninjutsu. Okay. Sure. So yeah, with the top, I'm actually probably going to Mirrorshell crab this ability here. And then you can tap out for it, if you would like, so that I can untap Mull Drifter, is what I'm hoping for. Like if he wants to pay 3 for it, that's fine. Okay. Ciao. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to tap out for this. I can't sit here and play around 4 counter spells. If he's got one, he's got one. If he doesn't, he doesn't. If he does, he does. Awesome. Has he got the blind flip? No. 2. Still no ninja. From one extreme to the next. Been very lucky on these delvers. No. Ain't happening. Also, again, ain't happening. He has 2 cards in hand, like if he really wants to. Jesus. Sure. Maybe I should have played this island. Stole the triple counter. I just really need something this turn. A Holy Light would be good if it was in my deck, but yeah. Yeah, it's really unfortunate these games, to be fair. This is obviously going to flip. 3, 4, 5, 6. And what's going on? Unless it was a ninja that he's put on top, which is the only other thing that's probably worth putting on top. That's not a spell. Really doesn't want this Delver to flip. I'm assuming it's a ninja. It's the only thing that I would say personally is worth putting on top. Yep. Cool. Three. Jesus. 5. Has he got a counter spell? Oh my god, this guy. Give me a break. So then obviously counter this and then he spell stutters. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Then this is going to flip as well, just for the extra ribbons. Okay. Class. And he's got the spell stutter for whatever I draw, basically. Awesome. Just for the rubbings. So there you have it, guys. We managed to go 3-2, unfortunately, in the last 2 games. First loss to Fair. But I actually don't think this is a testament to the deck. I do think this has a okay Fair matchup. It seems to play rather well. It's rather grindy. And you, if any deck nullifies the spell stutters, it's probably something like this / evoke with all the big bombs and the being a wonky curve. But again, you're basically dying to your deck most of the time. As you've seen in games 4 and games 5, where I basically died to my deck. I don't believe this is a testament to how insane. Like, this is a very medium draw, I actually think, to start with. It was very anemic, and then he just obviously managed to go slow while I drew nothing, and then eventually accumulate all this. So I don't believe that. Obviously, these first 3 games are the only 3 games I've played against Fair. And it felt a lot closer than maybe it did. Maybe I do need something else, something like Holy Lights or something to to kind of aim for this, but I feel like it's a pretty okay-ish matchup. I might try some Holy Lights in a future league, but yeah, I think it's not the worst matchup. The Bogos matchup as well, I feel like we lost to our deck. If we carried on hitting land drops, I think we were fine. Being stuck with 3 counter spells in hand and not being able to use them was the reason we lost, more than Bogles, if that makes sense. But I'm quite impressed with the brew. I feel like I'm quite impressed with the brew, how so far it's went in just an initial league. It's probably the sideboard that probably needs some sort of fine tuning. Like maybe we don't need 4 blue elemental blasts. Maybe the second soul can go in there instead of a Riverwinder, for example. Maybe we don't need 4 modern ages, but I was quite impressed with the card overall. Yeah, I think the deck's fine. I'm quite impressed with how the deck performed overall. I think it should have most likely probably been a 4-1 if not a 5-0. It just was really unfortunate on the last 2 rounds. But again, I think the sideboard probably just needs tweaking to aim more for Fae, maybe slightly. And I think that obviously this is the first draft of the deck, so I can see more tuning of numbers. I do like the 5 reanimate spells. I was quite surprised how relevant the ephemerate was as well. I thought it would be less relevant with obviously all the guys in, but I guess we move into more like an ephemerate package with just 4 extra stifle style effects more than anything. But thank you guys for watching anyways, and hopefully you'll see some more on this, some more fine tuning of the deck. And thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe.